Excel Workbooks and Worksheets, 15 Things to Know. A workbook is an Excel spreadsheet file. At the top of the screen is the Excel workbook file name. In this case, the workbook file name is Book 1. A workbook is comprised of one or more worksheets. A worksheet contains rows and columns where you can enter and calculate data. It is the main working area within Excel. We will discuss worksheets later in this video. Excel workbooks have a .xlsx file extension. It is worth noting that you can have multiple Excel workbooks open at the same time. Currently we have workbook Book 1 open. Let's say we want to open another workbook. We can go to File, New, Blank Workbook, and now we have a second workbook open at the same time. If you look at the top of the screen, you'll see now we have Book 2 as the current window. Now if you look at the Windows taskbar at the bottom of the screen, you will see that there is Book 2 and Book 1. You can toggle between the two workbooks simply by clicking the taskbar. So we can click Book 1, now we're at Book 1. We click back to Book 2, we're at Book 2. If you want to see the workbooks at the same time, you can go to the top right screen and click the Restore Down button. And now we're able to see Book 1 and Book 2 at the same time. So you can see that each workbook has its own window. And there is no set limit to the number of open workbooks you can have at one time. However, you may want to limit it to just a few open workbooks just so that it doesn't strain the resources on your computer, as well as it just keeps things a little bit more organized. That is it for our introduction to workbooks. Previously, we introduced workbooks. Now we will go into detail about worksheets. A worksheet is a part of a workbook. There can be one or more worksheets in a workbook. This workbook, Book 1, has one worksheet, Sheet 1. I will show you how to add worksheets a little bit later. A worksheet is the primary document you use in Excel to store and work with data. It's also called a spreadsheet. It is the main working area within Excel. A worksheet contains rows and columns where you can enter and calculate data. Rows are organized horizontally and are identified by row numbers on the left side of the worksheet. For example, this is row 1, this is row 2, and this is row 3, etc. Columns are organized vertically and are identified by letters across the top of the worksheet. This is column A, this is column B, this is column C, etc. A worksheet contains rectangular shaped cells. A cell is a box formed by the intersection of a row and column in a worksheet or table. If I click on the uppermost left cell of the worksheet, the name box displays A1 as the cell address. How is this cell address determined? A1 is the intersection of column A and row 1, hence A1. Now if I click into another cell in the worksheet, the cell address changes in the name box to E5, which is the intersection of column E and row 5. Therefore, the cell address is E5. A cell can contain text, number, or formula. In this worksheet, we have sales figures by region. In column A, we have the regions in text. In column B, we have the sales in numbers. Cell B6 contains a sum formula to total the sales from all regions by adding cells B2 through B5. A worksheet also has an invisible drawing layer on top of cells to add diagrams, images, and charts. For example, the sales and region data can be utilized to create a chart. I can go here into our data and highlight the region and the sales information, and then go to the ribbon, click Insert. I'm going to go over here to the Charts section and select Insert Chart and select this column chart. And so you can see that we now have a chart inserted onto our worksheet. One thing to note here is that the chart lays on top of the cells, unlike text, numbers, and formulas, which are inside cells. So if we look over here, you can see that this text East is inside the cell. This number 150,000 is inside the cell. However, the chart here is on top of the cells. It's not on the inside of the cells. As you can see, I can select it and drag it around, and you see that it lays on top of the cells. So that's one of the great features of Excel, is that not only can you work with text and numbers and formulas, you can also insert diagrams, images, and charts. We have looked at the different aspects of workbooks and worksheets. In this last section, we will discuss how to access, insert, and delete worksheets. Currently, we have book 1 open, and it is on sheet 3, which is blank. And what we can see is that sheet 3 is the active sheet, and we can tell this by looking at the color of sheet 3 sheet tab. It's a different color than sheet 2 and sheet 1. It has a greenish color for the text and a border at the bottom. So that's how we can tell that sheet 3 is the active sheet. Now if we want to switch to another sheet, then we can just click the tab. So we've selected the sheet 1 tab, and now sheet 1 is displaying. Now what if we want to add or insert a new sheet? We can do this by going to the right of the sheet tabs and clicking the new sheet icon, which is a plus sign, and then by clicking that, we have now added sheet 4 as a new sheet. Additionally, we could have added a new sheet by going to the Home tab and then going to the Cells group, click the down arrow in the Insert, and then select Insert Sheet, and now we've added another sheet, sheet 5. What about deleting sheets? Well, to delete a sheet, we can right-click in the sheet. In this case, I will right-click sheet 5 and then simply select Delete, and now sheet 5 has been deleted. We can also delete a sheet by going to the Home tab and then going to the Cells group, and then in the down arrow under Delete, we can select Delete Sheet, and now that sheet has been deleted. Number 1, a workbook is an Excel spreadsheet file. Number 2, a workbook is comprised of one or more worksheets. Number 3, multiple workbooks can be open at the same time. Number 4, each workbook file displays in its own window. Number 5, Excel workbooks have a .xlsx file extension by default. Number 6, a worksheet is a part of a workbook. Number 7, a worksheet is the primary document to store and work with data in Excel. Number 8, a worksheet contains rows and columns. Number 9. A worksheet contains rectangular shaped cells. Number 10. A cell is a box formed by the intersection of a row and column. Number 11. A cell can contain text, number, or formula. Number 12. A worksheet also has an invisible drawing layer on top of cells. Number 13. To access a worksheet, select a Sheet tab at the bottom of the Excel window. Number 14. To add or insert a new worksheet, click the plus icon to the right of the Sheet tabs. Number 15. To delete a worksheet, right-click a Sheet tab, then select Delete. This was a basic introduction to Excel workbooks and worksheets. If this video has been helpful, please click the like button below and consider subscribing if you haven't already. We are very grateful for your support. Thanks for watching. Stay inspired and keep learning.